Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Welcome to The Secret to Everything. I am Dr. Kimberly McGeorge, and we are here for another exciting adventure that we like to call The Secret to Everything. And today we're going to be talking to the esteemed Mr. Ken Elliott about your favorite topic in mind, manifestation, and how we can bring in more abundance in our lives. And you guys are probably thinking, oh no, I read The Secret. I know exactly what Ken is going to say, but Ken has written a fabulous book, which he will be talking to us about, called Manifesting 1, 2, 3, and You Don't Even Need the 3. Now, what Mr. Elliott may not know, that you guys may know, is I actually broke out in the international scene with a little book called The Secret to Everything, Manifesting the Life You Desire Now. And that happened about 4 years ago. And I have got to tell you guys, and I'm sure Ken can agree as he's gone through this journey as well with this topic, but we'll find out, that I kind of wish sometimes that people didn't read that book that I wrote 4 years ago, because although a lot of the bigger principles are true, I got a lot, let's put this kind of in air quotes, I got a lot wrong. And so I have learned so much about energy and frequency and clarity and thought forms and avatars and timelines and interdimensions and, just played in so much. And I have a lot of thoughts and theory and I think practical knowledge about this topic now. So this isn't going to be one of those, you interview the author and just say he's amazing and his book is great and, kind of close the chapter and go on with your life. This, if you allow it to, could really be a life-changing discussion. And also what I'm not sure Mr. Elliott knows is that I read energy very, very well to a very, very small level. And one thing I want to share with you that will quickly become apparent about Mr. Elliott is Mr. Elliott emanates 528 hertz, which is the frequency of love. So we are going to be bathed in the beautiful frequency that Mr. Elliott actually carries within his being. So we love, love, love that. Now I get to rant a little bit. I am coming off the high of an amazing retreat that we just had called Living Proof in the Blue Ridge Mountains, western ridges of the Blue Ridge Mountains in western North Carolina. And 26 people and I just had the most expansive energy high experience, full of healing and teaching and laughter. It was absolutely wonderful. And I'm so excited about, even though we're kind of wrapping up and going into winter, in Secret to Everything, we're kind of still ramping up. As a matter of fact, if you know me, I'm usually always ramping up. So don't forget that we have just created Ultimate Access for you, which is a $37 entry-level program so that you can taste the kind of topics that we're talking about today. It's a chance to try us out, try me out and see if you'd like to come into our more intense and higher level classes and programs, including one of my most special programs called Ultimate Awakening, all on the website, secrettoeverything.com. And I'll be talking about this more at the end of the show because I do want to go on a couple rants. If you guys know me, if you're in my classes, you know I love to go on rants. But, kudos to the FBI. They actually stunned me this week. I found out there are actually still moral, ethical, and wonderful men and women in the FBI. Who knew, right? So I just want to encourage you guys to contribute your thoughts, your intentions. And again, Mr. Elliott's going to be talking to us a lot about this very topic. But I want to encourage you guys to send the good ones, the light and the love, because the harassment and the ridicule and the clash of the low frequency versus the high frequency density of lies and cover up and even exposure. Those people, again, it takes a lot of energy to stand and to stand when you're being persecuted. So good for them. We'll see what happens, because historically, people have a habit, including the good ones, when they turn around and start pointing the finger and the videotapes and the audio tapes, and they have dirt on everyone. People tend to kind of duck and hide. So let's just remember that. And I just want to say, when did Halloween become a night that when your porch light was off, you become harassed? I was actually shocked. When I was a kid, if you gave out trick-or-treat candy, it was very obvious, right? You don't walk through people's yards unless you know them really well and they're your neighbors, and it's okay. And you don't go to people's whose porch lights turned off. I don't know what's wrong. This really tells me something's wrong with America, you guys, because we got harassed beyond all belief. There were kids, teenagers, junior high kids screaming obscenities at me through my window. My porch light was off. I was actually, of course, if you know me, trying to work and just generally disrupting our evening. So forget everything you read in the news, you guys. You can tell America is off the rails because people are still trick-or-treating when the porch light is off. So all that to say, we are looking forward once again to talking to Mr. Ken Elliott. Again, he wrote the book Manifesting 1, 2, 3, and you do not need the 3. What the heck does that mean? I absolutely cannot wait to dig into this. Oh, we could go so many different directions. This topic of manifestation and how we can really bring it down and practically apply it, not just to my life, but also to your lives where it matters, in your families and in your jobs and with your relationships. And that's absolutely love. Anything you can think of, the topic of manifestation always applies. So, my friends, we'll be right back on The Secret to Everything with Dr. Kimberly McGeorge.
This is Kevin Randall. For nearly 30 years, I have been investigating the case of the Roswell UFO. I have interviewed hundreds of people and stood on the crash site. Now in Roswell in the 21st century, I have reviewed dozens of hours of audio and videotaped interviews, examined hundreds of files that relate to the crash, and have returned to Roswell in an attempt to put all that information into the proper perspective. For the first time in Roswell in the 21st century, I have made a dispassionate reevaluation of all that material and provide a new look at what happened. This is a book that clears away all the clutter that has hidden the truth for so long, strips away the various lies that surround the case, exposes the Air Force attempts at cover-up, and found a core of solid information that tells us all where the case stands today. Roswell in the 21st century will be available in just a few weeks. For more information, please visit my website at www.kevinrandall.blogspot.com.
Gibbs A. Williams, Ph.D., is a practicing psychoanalyst, supervisor, researcher, and author in New York City. Much of his life has been dedicated to understanding nature and the uses of meaningful coincidences or synchronicities. His radical and original non-Jungian, non-mystical, non-magical theory of synchronicities illuminates much of the fog surrounding this challenging and perplexing topic. His ideas and manners are fresh, presented in a style that is both entertaining and highly informative. He is also an expert on crisis intervention, specially focused on violence reduction for the police and citizens, mastering anxiety, frustration, and stress without the use of medication, and effectively preventing and treating heroin addiction. Dr. Williams can be contacted at his email address at gwwilliamsny11@aol.com or visit his website at www.drgibbswilliams.com.
This is Johanna Carroll, host of Dialogue with Divinity on the X-Zone Broadcast Network. While walking along Kaanapali Beach in Maui this past year, I kept discovering all these shells and coral in the shape of hearts. My dialogue with Divinity was very simple. Do you want me to do a retreat to heal people's hearts in Maui next year? And of course, the answer was yes. As a master spiritual teacher, I am offering you a neat retreat called Rise, May 8th through the 12th, 2017, and the chance of a lifetime to rest at a 5-star resort for 5 days and experience a spiritual renewal of your heart and soul. Kaanapali is one of the top 5 beaches in the world. This stunning resort has undergone a $40 million renovation. I walked the entire property, checked out the room choices on your behalf, and I must say it is stunning. Our conference room faces the ocean with sliding glass doors. Maui is known as Mother Maui because it is a soft, gentle, healing energy. In the embrace of Mother Maui, you will feel yourself rising from the limitations of an ordinary life to an extraordinary journey of peace, bliss, and harmony. A greater sense of clarity. Our Rise retreat ignites renewal in the sacred elements of air, water, earth, fire, and wind. There's plenty of free time to enjoy all that Maui has to offer. A small deposit is required now to reserve your space, as this retreat, it will sell out. For more details, please go to johannacarroll.com and register today. Aloha, and I'll see you in mystical Maui.
Welcome back to The Secret to Everything with Dr. Kimberly McGeorge. And I would like to welcome Mr. Ken Elliott. Ken is an artist and a writer, and he gets to live in the beautiful land of Castle Rock, Colorado. He has experience personally as well as collected many, many astonishing stories for over 25 years. And he loves to share new and fundamental information that can change everything in your life. So welcome to The Secret to Everything, Mr. Elliott.
Hi, Kimberly. Thanks for having me on the show.
I'm so excited to talk to you. We like play in the same kind of playground. That's pretty cool, right?
Yes, we do. And I've got information that is not going to be the usual thing. Now, you have a lot of things in your show that are quite unusual. I don't underscore or underplay that. But what you're going to hear about manifesting is something that hasn't been in the literature until now. And it is the underpinning. It is the fundamental reason or information that makes this happen. You're going to learn how this works. No one has ever talked about that before.
I love that. So let's kind of start at the beginning. So, you've written a whole book on this, and I actually have your book, and you go into many, many different stories, and you personally experienced much of this yourself. But what was the beginning of this journey? Was it when you were born? Did something happen? Could you share with us why this even became an important topic in your life?
Not really. I was just a regular kid in a regular place, regular family, all was well. But down the road, I had a personal issue. I had a thing that was just overwhelming. I couldn't figure it out. And I had read some light metaphysical material. I was interested in science fiction and extrasensory perception, EFP, those kind of things. And I'd had some interesting dreams, but I'd forgotten about all that stuff. But recently I had been following someone. Well, I've been following apparitions of Mother Mary. I'm not Catholic. I went to Catholic school in the first grade. I'm not overwhelmed by that, but I was curious about it, was researching that. Then I came to know a woman who was having messages, is the name of the book, Getting Messages from Mary, Annie Kirkwood. And when this issue that I had just became too overwhelming, I called Annie and said, I want the name of the most accurate psychic in the United States. You go out and lecture with these people, and I've read some of their books, and all of this seems to be very legitimate and interesting. So having gone to counseling and this and that, maybe a psychic person get a hold of this and give me some answers. And she told me, you call Judy Goodman. I said, where does her information come from? She said, it comes from the top. Is that good enough for you? And that frankly scared me. I was shaken when I hung up the wall phone. That's how far back it was, about 25 years ago or so, and called her up, and we plugged right in, and she was very helpful. And then I got a whole lot of what I didn't think I had signed up for, and I began remembering some very interesting dreams and started having more and more experiences. Then I started meeting people and helping them get on the radio and helping with their books. And Judy told me this stuff is all going to come to pass. And then people came forward and told me about some of the gifts that Judy has. And one of these things that was particularly interesting to me was that if you send Judy something in thought, she'll get it. Now, don't everybody want to do that, because there are barriers and lots of layers of protection around that, but she'd open that up. So I would send her all manner of things in thought, and I'd pick up the phone later, and she'd tell me what it was that I had sent. And I could even send things in real time. And here's the kicker. Here's what's going to make this program unique right here. She could watch my thoughts forming up in real time. And one of these other friends I made right away, William Buhlman, Buhlman, who's the foremost out-of-body author, we became very close friends. We still are. I was doing his website for a long time. And he would put things on his wish list or vision board, much in the way that everybody talks about in terms of doing manifesting. And then because he's an out-of-body adept, he would go to the other side, and on occasion, he could see the things that he had written down on a list beginning to take form on the other side. It was just all lined up in various stages of manufacture. So an initial thought looks like a wisp of smoke, and if you stay with that vision board or that wish list, whatever it is, you keep repeating that. You keep adding layers of intention to that initial idea, that singular idea. That wisp of smoke gets more and more solid. It takes on more and more form and more color. And it becomes, at one point, so 3D, so full-colored, that it is coming over into the physical world. And that's what our thoughts do. And all of these hundreds and hundreds of books where people talk about manifesting, they're all fine. I support them all. But no one ever knew how it actually takes form. And now I've got a lecture coming up in Taos and later in the month, a group of people, and they're all about manifesting. And someone a few months back asked the group, there are about 40 or so in the room, how many people have seen The Secret? And they all raised their hands. And then they said, how many people are still using the techniques described on The Secret? And there's a lot of them. And no one raised their hand.
Exactly.
They had all given up on it. They didn't know how it works. Knowing how it works makes all the difference.
Gosh, you opened up so many ways to go with that.
Oh,
because,
yes,
because I love what you said, because to me, there's no secret. The nature of how reality works, which what we're talking about is one of many aspects of how this reality works or can work, if you know about it, is the secret. And so these secrets have been purposely hidden throughout the ages. And what you stumbled upon, which I actually don't believe you stumbled upon, I believe something in you, like you said, drew that to you. And you do vibrate at 528, which I haven't read all your books, so I don't know if you talk about that. But I think you are a very special person because I looked at a lot of energy before I came on this program about you. And you actually, you're a natural communicator, obviously. You're actually, one of your highest gifts is healing, which is interesting because there's a sense in this information that when you are telling higher truth or expanded information, that is actually a very healing thing to do. So even though you might not be a conventional healer, I actually believe you have that shamanic type of healer in you, if you know what I'm talking about, teacher healer. But all that aside, just even opening that up to people who have never heard that kind of blows their reality apart. Because if that is true, if you can do that, or you can do that, or I can do that, it gives them hope. They're like, oh my gosh, maybe I'm more powerful than I think. Maybe I can live in creation and create my reality.
Well, and we're already doing it. It's your birthright. And it doesn't matter if you believe this or not. You are making things with your thoughts. Anything you repeat is taking form in the unseen field around you. And it doesn't take any talent. It's like breathing. No one goes to breathing school. Not really. You're born with it. And you're born with the ability to create. And you don't have to ask God in the morning, where do I help me breathe? And you don't have to ask anyone to help you create. And if you repeat a thing, it starts to build. And I have a handful, very small handful of extremely gifted friends, and they can watch thought take form. And that's stupendously informative and empowering. I did a second version of the book, and that's what's out there commonly right now with the aqua cover. And the reason why is what I said is so darn simple that people have trouble getting it. It's very rare that I put this out there and somebody goes, oh my gosh, it sounds too much like what they've already heard. But we've been petitioning the water faucet. We put up sticky notes and we act really good when we're in the kitchen. We do all these things to give that water faucet a nod, all with the idea that if we keep this high-minded approach to the water faucet, it will improve our chances of water coming out. But it's ridiculous. If you know the water faucet's hooked up to the water plant, every time you go over there and hit it, water's going to come out. And every time you begin to think of something, a so-called good thought or so-called bad thought, if you repeat it, it is building, and it will come into the physical world. And that's how everything on this planet was ever made. It was all puff of smoke first, unless it occurred naturally or was an act of God. So when you look at your local downtown skyline, what you're looking at is a result of a lot of thought. And at first look like a wisp of smoke. And that's how it all gets made. So jump in and get your share. I redid the book so I could explain this in a form that maybe is a little easier. Imagine that you're like a genie and you're sitting in your chair and anything you think of begins to take form. It actually does. And the most gifted of the gifted can see this happen in real time. And that changes everything. Now, that's a very nice thing. Now, here's the other part. You're responsible for what you think. And you can create ordinary, mundane, boring, servitude, freedom. You can create for yourself. It's your responsibility. You're in charge of your life. You're responsible for your life. Not somebody else's fault. You can create your way through it. Now, people have destiny. There's a lot of people in very distressed parts of the world. It's not their fault. And people with some pretty tough diseases and situations, it is not always their fault. But they may be able to create a way through or around this. It's all school, and some of this I really do feel we're destined to go through. No one gets out of this planet without pain. And it's just part of the way it works down here. But we have we've got a lot of open space to create good things for ourselves. That's the big news today.
No, it's awesome. It's awesome. A lot of space. I believe infinite space for infinite creation.
Well, Richard Branson and Elon Musk, they've announced they're going to Mars, for crying out loud. That's some big thinking. They're not just trying to get the bills paid. They're going to friggin' Mars. I love it.
I love that. I'll stay on there. Thank you very much. Ken, and we're probably going to have to go to a break in the middle of this, which is great because I know people are going to want to hear the whole of this discussion. But so I have tons of friends that are like, the secret is BS. It doesn't work. I've done the vision boards. I've done, like you said, so like the people in your groups. So
yeah.
What would you say to them? Would you say they didn't know how to do it? They weren't repeating enough. They were thinking negative thoughts. Is there a neutral effect if we think 5 positive thoughts and 5 negative thoughts? Does it wash out the positive thoughts? Can you kind of flesh out why doesn't the vision board work? Why doesn't what's taught in the secret work?
Okay. Well, this is really, 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 really simple. If you think it, it starts to take form. And if you repeat it, it gets more and more solid. Now, here's another little bonus. 2 huge bonuses. The first one is, and people are all over this now, if you add gratitude to that thought, which is love, or if you add fear to that thought, it makes it exponentially more powerful. I sent things to Judy Goodman. We'll wait until after the break, and we'll get into that.
Yeah, thank you, Ken. Perfect bridge. Dr. Kimberly McGeorge, The Secret to Everything, here with Ken Elliott. We'll be right back with more soon.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
Wouldn't you love to know the secret to everything? Well then, meet Dr. Kimberly McGeorge and her cutting-edge breakthrough knowledge that combines science with possibility. Dr. Kimberly brings real-life answers and healing to those open to alternative solutions. She teaches solution-based programs and classes that will change all areas of your life forever. Specializing in conscious creation, intuitive readings, and energy medicine, you can rapidly shift health, relationships, business, and money and abundance challenges quickly. Receive her best-selling book, Secret to Everything, at no cost by going to secrettoeverything.com/X-Zone. That's right, transformation can start now. Just go to secrettoeverything.com/X-Zone and receive Dr. Kimberly's book for free.
While science pursues fact, magic accesses the quantum level, bridging random facts to form truth. As long as science and magic remain separate and polarized, the truth cannot be known. I'm Gwilda Wiyaka. Join me on the Science of Magic radio program, dedicated to unification and evolution of consciousness. During each episode, I'll be speaking with experienced and respected scientists and mystics. From astrologers to astronomers, from medical doctors to shaman, the scientific method to dowsing and intuition, we'll weave together information from seemingly divergent practices to promote unity and enlightenment. Join me, Gwilda Wiyaka, and the Science of Magic right here on the Mutual Broadcast Network. For more information, visit www.thescienceofmagic.net.
I am Dr. Carl O. Helvey, founder, president of a new cancer foundation focusing on evidence-based physical, mental, and spiritual interventions, including natural cancer cures, prayer, meditation, affirmations, nutrition, and other related holistic cancer prevention and cure modalities. These are used in cancer education, research, and financing care. I ask for your help to continue this important work by donating at www.holisticcancerfoundation.com.
Welcome back to The Secret to Everything. I'm Dr. Kimberly McGeorge, and what if you had the power to create whatever you would like, whenever you would like, anytime you would like? Guess what? We are here with our guest, Mr. Ken Elliott, and he says that is exactly the power that you possess. During our last little bit, we were talking about why the secret doesn't work and what we can do to change that. So let's pick up kind of where we left off, Ken.
Okay. Well, let's get all of our ducks in a row in terms of descriptions.
That's
The
good.
Secret is a very popular book, movie, DVD, and it really went around the world and changed a lot of lives and opened a lot of people up to this idea of our thoughts making things. And there have been many people before and after that has discussed this topic, but I have not found anyone in the literature who had the personal experience of sending thought to people that are so receptive to what thought actually does, that they could watch thought take form in real time, or they could see the results of thought, and while it's sitting on the shelf on the other side, being manufactured, so to speak. So, what do people trip up on? All right, so I knew Judy Goodman, still do. She'll be over here at the house doing a workshop soon, this weekend. And for many, many years, I don't know, 10, 15 years, I was sending her things in thought. And she got them 100% of the time. I think of a thing. I think about it really hard. I had no skills, no experience, no specialities. I would just think of this stuff like a 6-year-old and really, and send it and call her up and she'd get the thing. And William Buhlman, the out-of-body author, who's a good friend, on occasion, he would go to the other side and see his thoughts just lined up on the other side in various stages of formation. Now, William is an author, and Judy is a very, very gifted person. And I'm just a pumpkinhead who happens to know them, just Mr. Average. And I have this incredible information that I can't shut up about here on the radio about it today. And what did I do with it? Nothing. I literally had the keys to the kingdom. I knew something that very few people on the planet know, and I did nothing with it because, well, William and Judy are very special people, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm not. So there's a part of me that was either, some of that was certainly not very bright, was I? I didn't even try because I didn't even have a good reason. I just didn't. And so I talked about this stuff, and there were fabulous stories over dinner and wine, wow. But never did anything with it. And when I hit the switch, things started happening. And they happened a lot, and they happened for my friends. And after 2 years of repeating this story, I finally wrote the book. The book essentially wrote itself. It's not my book. This is information that was given to me, and I'm passing it on.
Gotcha.
Did I discover this? No, but it's kind of a laugh. If you tell somebody something for about 15 years and they finally get it, suddenly you're special, or oh, you've really done something good here. No, I think I was the slowest guy in the world to pick up on this. but I won't stop now because it's extraordinarily simple. So the tripwires are, people are working on this and nothing's happening. Well, obviously, usually the first thing is they don't do it enough. You do it every day. Mm. And you put gratitude behind this. Mm. Now, you can be working at cross purposes with yourself. Imagine you have a train. You have this, we'll call it a train, but on track one, you're manifesting this perfect career. I didn't say job, perfect career.
Mm-hmm.
I like to think bigger than jobs.
I love
And then
it.
on the other track, you're manifesting that if you get this perfect job, it's going to be over your head. People are going to find out about you and you're going to get fired. So wonderfully, you get your job in 6 weeks. Ta-da! You get an A in manifesting. And then 6 months down the road, you get fired. You manifested the idea that you're not worthy. You can do both. Or they can entangle each other. So going down that one track, you're pushing ahead with this idea. You're building, I don't want to say pushing it, you're actually building this concept. My people can watch it happen, but it's being entangled. I'm very good at this. It's being entangled with some other fear, some other worry. So your thoughts just make anything. It's like gravity. If you take an object and hold it out over the floor and let it go, gravity pulls it to the ground every time. And all your thoughts do, all they do are make things. They just make things. Gravity pulls things to the ground, and it doesn't judge what you're going to do with it. And your thoughts will make anything, and it doesn't judge if it's a so-called good concept or a so-called bad concept. Now, if you take any thought and load it up with gratitude, love, or you take any thought and load it up with fear, worry, it's going to exponentially make that thought stronger and bring it to you in a more efficient way. So with very little effort, we can do very, very powerful things. We can make a new building in Manhattan if you like, or go to Mars if you like, or get some tires on the gosh darn truck, you know? But we can make anything happen. But we can entangle, we can get in the way, or we don't even try hard enough. We don't try hard enough. You know, it's hard for me to do this every day. I'm pretty busy. I know this works, and I put it off just like everybody else will. But you know what? Going into what I call the movie, and you have these different scenes in your movies, important thing I can do. Now, here's the other really cool thing about what thought does. You can exponentially make it more powerful with love or fear. And here's the bonus. Your thoughts can make the future. There's a concept. Consider this thing that you're a genie. And Kimberly, you're the genie and you're in your chair and you say, all right, let's see, I can make anything, and that's a true statement. Anything that's ever been made on this planet was a thought first, at least if it was, made by humans. So you can make anything. What would it be? Well, I would say a more efficient way to do things is imagine that whatever you're going to make is in your future and it's already happened. And your thoughts will go to work on this thing in the future and make it so. Now, what that means is if you are all about having this trip to South America, then you envision in your future that you're already in a chair having that coffee on the street in La Paz. And you're already there. It's already happened. You don't know how it happened. You don't know how the money happened. You're there. It's happy. You have created this happy, beautiful scenario with your favorite partner or a group of friends. I don't know what. But your thoughts will go to work on that thing in the most efficient way possible. And all you do is go into your future and imagine you're sitting there having your espresso and you take in the sights and scenes and you say, I'm so very grateful for this. I just love this. And you can't do it any more efficiently. And then you come out of your movie and you go back to your daily deal. You go back to work, run the bases. You just don't sit around and wait for this magical thing to happen and come through the keyhole or be delivered Federal Express. You go back to your day. But the most important thing you can do is go to your future, and your future, all these wonderful things that you desire have already happened. And in each one of these scenes in your movie, you just express that you're so grateful. That's the number one of the 1, 2, 3. It is so simple, it's difficult for people to get a hold of. And they may not believe it. It's too good to be true. But if you go up to my website, it's manifesting123.com, There are almost 200 stories there from readers. Get on my
Wow.
newsletter. There's a new story every Friday.
I love
And
that
you can search
shared
them by
that.
topics.
That's great. I love it. Well, and we're going to ask you, we're
Yeah.
putting you on the spot, which I know you have tons of stories. I want to share a quick funny story that kind of illustrates everything you just said. I have a friend and he
Okay.
just, came into these principles and had just found out about consciousness and, manifestation and all that a couple years ago. And he met this wonderful woman and they together created a vision board and they cut out, you know the drill. They cut out these pictures of these SUVs and put them up. Long story short, when they broke up, the way she got rid of him was buying him that car on that. They actually bought those same cars. And so he manifested, like she manifested the car too. But guess what? Sometimes we manifest things like what? That we do have to put the work or the energy behind it, that we still have to pay for it. It shows up, as you know, in all different ways and all different scenarios. But this guy who just walked into it, and maybe that's part of the secret here, he manifested for her to pay for it. Isn't that I just thought it was a cute story. But
Well,
and
that's what I call the equivalent of money. This may not be the best example, but sometimes you just get a check in the mail. You didn't punch in and punch out for that. You didn't go to work for a week and get a paycheck. It just fell out of the sky. Yeah.
I love that.
Interesting.
Well, how about you, Ken?
Crazy upside down funny.
Yeah, that was. I thought you'd like that. But how about you? Do you have a personal story about something you've manifested that would be, a really good one to share?
Well, when God, there's just so many. I mean, this is something that's happening on a weekly basis.
I love that you say that. That's so great. Well, pick some.
Plus, it's all interwoven with my friends and people from all across the world with their stories.
Of course.
Well, I needed a cover for this second book. I had the concept about the genie. I wanted to write a new forward. I had a couple more stories. I wanted to expand the first version. So if you have the first version, everything you need is right there. The only thing that's lacking is a couple stories in this one little intro, and I've already gone through that, talking about the genie. That's the difference. And a beautiful cover. So, I wanted a cover, and I wanted some pros to do this, and I wanted to get some PR going in a national way. And I just kind of had it in my head that it was going to cost about $35,000. I don't know where that number came from, but sometimes it just pop in. And I called around, and I got a recommendation from an outfit out of New York. And when you know it, they said, yeah, to do all that, it's going to be about $35,000. I went, well, wow, okay. And I hated to take that out of savings. I'm trying to manifest this thing, And so, long story short, what came out of that is I let it go on the PR part, but I got a brilliant cover for not a lot of money. And the PR part came in the form of someone who I'm still using now that does my social media. And that worked out beautifully in a way that is digestible instead of trying to spend all this money and then just make it all go splat in, 2 or 3 months. So we're doing the steady Freddy approach, and this worked out very well. So I saved a lot of money on that. And by the way, and this links into another story with the social media person, I did get a check that came in the mail. Well, I found out I had a life insurance policy that had a good cash value on it. And I don't have any dogs and cats or wife or, people I leave it to. So it's just my money. So why don't I just take the money? And so I had plenty of money to cover this, all the PR, whatever I wanted to do, but I elected just to get the cover. But I did need a new car. I needed a new used car. And my social media person, her car was crummy, but that's not my problem, right? So my gifted friend, Judy Goodman, came here to lecture a couple years ago. She's at the core of this book. And wouldn't you know it, my social media person, Mary Ann, is driving over here. She brings some things from the store, and her car dies right in front of my driveway. And now I'm going to get it.
Okay, we're gonna hold everybody in suspense. You guys got to keep listening to the next part of this story. So we are here, and we will be back with Mr. Ken Elliott, the author of Manifesting 1, 2, 3, and You Don't Need Number 3. I'm Dr. Kimberly McGeorge.
As host of Dialogue with Divinity, I am thrilled to join the X-Zone Broadcast Network and their growing number of affiliates. My quest for a connection to the divine ignited my successful career path as an international spiritual counselor for over 40 years, an author of 4 books, and well-known metaphysical educator. My clients call me their spiritual mama. So my job is to offer you a radio show to help you grow spiritually with wisdom and get specific tools from guests who are experts in their field. Tune in to Dialogue with Divinity and be part of the conversation with Spirit. My goal, your happy soul. For more information, please visit my website at johannacarroll.com.
Coming soon to the X-Zone Broadcast Network is A Different Perspective with me, Kevin Randle, as your host. We'll be taking a close look at what is happening in the world of UFOs today with side trips into the paranormal. Guests will range from those who are household names to those who have a different perspective on a variety of topics. No topic will be taboo, but there will be tough questions asked as we all search for the truth about UFOs, the paranormal, and those things that excite us. Sometimes we'll agree with a guest and sometimes we won't, but we'll try to keep the program topical. For those of you who would like to read, be sure to visit www.kevinrandle.blogspot.com and remember to listen to the other fine programs on the X-Zone Broadcast Network at www.xzbn.net. This is Kevin Randle. For nearly 30 years, I have been investigating the case of the Roswell UFO. I have interviewed hundreds of people and stood on the crash site. Now in Roswell in the 21st century, I have reviewed dozens of hours of audio and videotaped interviews, examined hundreds of files that relate to the crash, and have returned to Roswell in an attempt to put all that information into the proper perspective. For the first time in Roswell in the 21st century, I have made a dispassionate reevaluation of all that material and provide a new look at what happened. This is a book that clears away all the clutter that has hidden the truth for so long, strips away the various lies that surround the case, exposes the Air Force attempts at cover-up, and found a core of solid information that tells us all where the case stands today. Roswell in the 21st century will be available in just a few weeks. For more information, please visit my website at www.kevinrandle.blogspot.com.
Afterlife expert Roberta Grimes was the first one to say that dying can be fun. Now her best-selling book, The Fun of Dying, is available in stores worldwide. So if you wonder whether death ends life, how it feels to die, or what heaven might be like, The Fun of Dying was written for you. And if you have always been afraid of death, or if you worry that your life has no meaning, let The Fun of Dying ease your fears and bring new meaning to your life. Nothing said in The Fun of Dying is based on the teachings of any religion. Instead, Roberta draws on evidence to explain how death happens, how it feels, and what comes next. A lot of the best death-related evidence was produced in the first half of the 20th century. When it is put together with recent discoveries, it tells a consistent and amazing story. Roberta Grimes blogs and answers questions at robertagrimes.com. Her wonderful book, The Fun of Dying, is available on Amazon and at stores worldwide wherever books are sold.
Welcome back to The Secret to Everything with Dr. Kimberly McGeorge, and we are here with Ken Elliott, and he is talking about one of the secrets to literally everything, which is actually kind of the real truth about manifesting and manifestation. And we were right in the middle of a really great story, Ken. So if you could pick up kind of where you left off, that'd be wonderful.
Well, it's terribly complicated, and it's up there on the website. But the bottom line was money was manifested to get a new cover for the book. Money was manifested for me to get my new used car. Money was manifested for Marianne to buy my car, which was in good shape, high mileage, but she's driving it now, and it's like 3 generations beyond what she had, which was falling apart. Further, the money was just it just appeared. It was just there. I didn't even realize it was available. And it goes on and on and on and on and on. But it was rather magical that her car died right in front of my driveway, and now it's kind of my responsibility to get that thing done. And as it turns out, someone manifested someone who could show us how to buy this from each other, sign a title over, took her car away, had a he's in the used car business, turns out, and he took her car away. And she made money when it sold at auction, and it helped pay for the car that I sold her, and yada, yada, yada. And everybody came away. It was like money wasn't an issue in this thing. And in, 48 hours, we both have new cars.
Wow.
With money left over. It was just like the coolest thing ever.
That is the coolest thing ever. So is anything impossible? We talked at the beginning about fear and kind of the contradictory thoughts, and how that, how you actually do manifest still your contradictory thoughts, which are not what you really, would ideally like to have in your lives, but you still did create that. Could you talk a little bit about that? Yeah,
I'll give you a real clear example. Judy Goodman is lecturing. She's on a stage, a number of people in this hotel room, and I'm sitting next to Patty Conklin, another person, highly gifted, who can also see thought take form. And it was wonderful to be in the presence of these two women because they see the other side all the time. So it's it's a lot of fun. So anyway, Judy's up there lecturing, and I get that I can send Judy things in thought. And now I've got somebody sitting next to me who can watch what I'm doing. She can watch these thoughts take form because they happen in the spirit world. And if you stay with it, they become physical. So first we have your thoughts have turned into smoke. They become smoke, and then they start to take form on the spirit side. So Judy's lecturing. I had this thing where I want to do something and check this out with Patty. I'm going to try this out. So I'm thinking about lining up potted plants in front of the stage where Judy is lecturing and putting purple tulips in it. So there's a dozen or more potted plants with lots of purple tulips in the plants. And I work on this for a while Judy's lecturing. Shame on me. I'm really concentrating on this more than what Judy's saying. She can slap me later. But I leaned over to Patty and said, "Do you see what I'm doing in front of the stage?" She said, "Yeah. You're making a bunch of purple tulips out there." I said, "Yeah." I told Judy about it. Now, how cool is that? I told Judy about it, and she said, yeah. She did the Yoda thing, like, you really need to be doing something else with this, but I'm not getting it because I'm just being a kid. And so I did this a couple of times. And the third time around, she's doing another lecture. Patty's sitting next to me. We're in the back of the room. And it's a little bigger room. So I'm going to doll this room up. I'm going to put up Roman columns, and I've got fabrics that are swagged across the top, and I'm really putting on a show here. I'm just going to really fix this place up, right? And I asked Patty, "Do you see what I'm doing?" She said, "No." So this isn't working, and so then it's all done, and we're all squared away. At the end of the day, I said, "Judy, I'm always sending you the tulips." She said, "Well, because I allow them." See, I'm in her space, so it was allowed. But yes, we can do that. And I said, "Well, what about all the other stuff I was sending?" She said, "Look, these people pay money to come here and hear a lecture. And there are people on the spirit side, and their intention is to have a good, clear space, that looks like a hotel room to have a lecture with. And they're not intruding on the space. And your little puny intention is going up the intention of hundreds of other people, and your intention is not strong enough. If I were to go the other side and I see some structure, I can't paint it pink because there are a lot of other intentions, layers and layers of intentions will do that. Just try going up to the White House and going through the front gate. Well, there's a lot of intentions that say you cannot go through the front gate, right? So it's kind of like that. But within our own lives, we can do this a lot. Now, it begs the question, we get, this happens all the time. I have someone who's sick, I'm sick, I have this problem, I need to get a good grade on this test. Will you manifest a good result for me? And what's happening here, there is something we can do, and And there are things that we can't do. You can't take your child's math test. You can't run their 100-yard dash. That is their walk. That is their school. That is their learning experience. But we can have influence on the field, that they are more alert or less distracted that day. To some degree, we can have influence on that. That that they get the right people in the hospital. That the way is made clear is the word I like to use, the phrase. That the way is made clear for them during this difficulty, or even when there's no difficulty. A lot of things that I'll ask for or put in my movie, I ask them all to come. I ask all of them to come with an ease and a grace. And I stole that from a big guy a long, 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 long time ago. Ease and a grace. Ask it to come with an ease and grace. That's a good way to write a contract.
I love that. There's so much there again to talk about. I don't even know, you guys, where this hour has gone, because this is really, and I know you would agree, Ken, this is a really meaty subject. And really, if these concepts are new to you, just start to flesh them out. And which is why I really encourage you guys to go to the website and get the book, because I know that you do flesh these out, and that reading other people's stories as well helps flesh them out. It reminds me, actually, of a story that's kind of another. I like funny stories, obviously, but talking about your own personal life and how you can change things when you have that power of thought and that intention behind it, and when you're a pretty good manifestor and used to practicing. But we had walked into Cracker Barrel, and this seems silly, but we don't like to sit in the back section of Cracker Barrel. So just to be funny and just to be me, my children are with me, I said, I'm going to throw up a wall and we're not going to sit there. Do you know that little Cracker Barrel waitress bumped off an invisible wall, turned around and said, I'm not going to seat you there? And you guys, this works. This works from the little, I know, I'm petty. What could I say? But from the little things. But what I loved about that story is I think that's a powerful example of empowering other people, in this case, my children, how powerful they are as individual, that thoughts, words influence reality, and it can happen literally in a lightning flash second. So Ken, like I said, this hour is like blitz. Like I'm like you put me in some other like manifestation zone. So could you share how we can find out more and get in touch with you? Because this hour is gone.
I know. We'll go to manifesting123.com, www.manifesting123.com. Please get on the newsletter. The book reached number 1 at Amazon. It's still doing very well here and in England on Amazon. And you can buy it as an audio book. It's downloadable on all the tablets. So in any form you want, you can have this book.
Yeah, I love that. And do you have, again, your website where they can go and they can read, the stories and get in touch with you? And you are a beautiful, beautiful human being. And I thank you so much for the work you're doing. This is so valuable in empowering people and connecting people. And so, I just appreciate you, my friend. And I also thank you so much for being on our show today. It's just such a pleasure.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for all you do for the many. And, a quick story dropped into my head. A woman who had been asking to get ahead for a break, went to a Goodwill store, that's where she was living, and found this book for $2. It changed her life. She had a Walker store. We put it up on the newsletter. It's on the web.
Yeah, go read that, you guys. Well, you take care, my friend, and I look forward to talking to you again in the future.
Thank you. And thank you, Rob, for putting this all together, and thank you both for helping the many. We need all the help we can get, and all the good information we get our hands on. Thank you.
Thank you. Amen to that. And next week, we are going to have another amazing and wonderful guest. When do I not have amazing and wonderful guests? Brian Toohey, who wrote a book called The Fix Is In. This is going to be, and you guys know, I do not shrink back from controversy, just like my mentor, Rob. But this is going to be kind of coming close to home, touching some football and some basketball and some professional baseball. And so we're going to find out exactly why Mr. Toohey thinks that sports, professional sports, possibly even college sports. You'll have to listen to find out. Are they fixed? Are sports like WWE? Are they entertainment? How much is legitimate about sports? What place does the betting industry have in sports, and how does that influence, what they are and what they're not, and what happens in draft picks and all that? I mean, the guys are going to like this one, right, you guys? But also, what does that matter? What does it matter that we're sitting in and watching, hours and hours, and we're rooting for these teams, and we're putting our energy behind, and we're selling things to go to the games? How does this kind of all flesh out? And I'm going to bring in an added layer that I don't even know if Brian, don't tell him, you guys, if he's going to know. I'm going to bring in, I actually have some background information on sports too. And I guarantee you, this is a show that you will not forget. Actually, I hope you don't forget any of our shows. All our shows are available through this network, the beautiful XZBN network. They're also available on my website. I just love you guys to death. I love doing this show for you.